Okay, Justin, so we're here today with Drawing Folio Part 2, which is obviously the second part of the drawing show that we did 2 years ago at the old block in Flinders Lane. And as you seem to rally together all the troops that were in the first show, which is a fantastic achievement. How do you feel this show has gone?
Well, I think maybe it's more of it's a little bit more specialised, as the title of the exhibition implies. It's called Drawing Folio 2, Ruler, Pencil and Time. So this exhibition is principally about the use of rulers or drawing devices or drawing systems, predominantly with pencil or any other kind of specific drawing medium, and using time. John Nixon and I have a fascination with drawings that take a long time to make. So in that, it's implied that time becomes a medium. Time becomes something that each person who is exhibiting in this show, they've worked through time to bring the drawing into being. So yeah, it becomes like a material that actualises each and every work.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of talking about when I meant how's it gone. I was talking about, in the sense the work that's been gathered, whether or not I was asking a question on the basis, do you think the agenda has been met? Like the artists have actually stepped up to the plate and.
Well, I think so. In 33 different and very interesting ways.
Yeah.
Some are more formal than others. Some works kind of validate the curatorial premise more specifically than others. Others have kind of gone out a little bit left of centre and actually sort of tested the idea of the show as well, which I think is absolutely important, because what it creates is a really deep show with lots and lots of different variations. Process is a very strong thing, and repetition and variation of elements is also seems to be like a recurring kind of approach.
Well, this is the main aspect of this show, and the main reason I've enjoyed working with yourself and John so much on this show is the process in the show. I believe you probably agree to a certain point in art now, a lot of the process has been removed from art. A lot of artists are very sort of fearful of actually showing the process in their work. It's all about this sort of hyper-refined, finished kind of, product or whatever. But these shows really sort of, to me, it sort of demythologises the idea of making art. It actually shows artists sit there and they toil and they actually have to figure out all these different equations and problems, and that's why it's always kind of been captivating to me. Do you think that's one of a really important factor of this?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wanted to. The whole Drawing Folio project from the start, when John and I sat down and we approached you originally about it, and this includes the first show as well, we wanted to curate and organise an exhibition that is practical, easy to put together, kind of modest in that all of the works are hung alphabetically from entry, they're hung along the same baseline, they're all unframed. And there's also something really nice about the way that invitations go out to the artists, and then they have a period of time to make a work or to select a work, and then they actually even bring it in themselves.
That's another thing, a word that modest.
Yeah.
And I really love the aspect of the Drawing Folio, the modesty in it, because this is an incredibly personal thing. Someone sitting there with a piece of paper in their studio or their workbench, just sort of
working it out.
It's a very. It's almost like you have that sort of that almost that intimacy with the artist in that sense. You just really see the mind working. It's not, it's kind of like. I said to someone the other day, it's like pulling back the curtain.
Absolutely, getting an insight.
It's like meeting the wizard, behind the art, because I guess with art now there's almost a mythology behind artists that it's all effortless and,
I think an exhibition like this shows the importance in study, the importance in working and working it out on the piece of paper. and that, yeah, a drawing is a configuration of marks that which take time to make and bring together. I mean, it's called drawing, the exhibition series is called Drawing Folio because the idea is that the work can be small and that it can be brought to the gallery in a folio. So, yeah, the exhibition is a sum of modest scaled gestures which collectively perhaps show an insight into some of the activities that are happening in terms of drawing in Melbourne.
Okay. So do you believe, like, I mean, looking around the room, most of this work in this room is obviously of a sort of, it's a kind of, most of it is non-objective. It's all about abstraction, and it's about dealing with abstraction in different ways. Do you believe that sort of abstraction may be coming into sort of a renaissance now? We're sort of seeing it in Europe, obviously in Germany, and obviously in America has always celebrated abstraction, but there seems to be this kind of, there seems to be an intrigue in abstraction starting to sort of come up again.
Jeremy, I think the answer would differ to absolutely everybody and every party involved in this whole situation, but my view is that it probably was never really out all that far. I don't think it's a matter of it actually being in. I think that abstraction has a lot to offer. It's a angle, it's a way in that has always been very well represented. It's just that in these pluralistic times, it has many other forms of art to kind of work amongst, not compete with, not be in or out. It's not a dialectical kind of situation. It's just that it's one form, it's one language, and I think this exhibition goes some way into talking about, what can happen within this otherwise usually assumed to be very sort of formal and constrained type of language.
This is the nice thing, I think, Justin, we actually can talk about it like this, because even in the discussion there is a wonderful element of freedom in the process. And
well, we're very lucky to have that freedom as well as curators and participants. To be given that kind of freedom in this setting is a luxury, and that's known.
Well, I think it's a nice thing, isn't it, when I guess yourself and John and I can sort of, I guess we have again such an organic process in curating and talking, and there's no sort of there's no real parameters we've set for each other. We all understand what we have to do and why we do it, and I think that's why the show actually has this wonderful energy. And again, as being the gallery owner, I'm fascinated actually how many people are intrigued in it. When you actually meet them, they're so intrigued in the whole process.
Oh, it's drawing. It's just like this kind of primeval activity that it's working ideas out. It's trying to figure out an idea in the form of an image on a piece of paper. It's funny. It appeals to so many.
A client came in the other week who comes to the gallery a lot, and he said to me the other week, he said it's real. He said to me, it's funny, I mean, it's kind of an interesting analogy, but I liked it. He said, it's sort of like going back to the cave wall.
Absolutely.
It's just this scribbling thing, and it's very much about the sort of, as you say, the primordial subconscious, which I love. Again, I don't think we actually see enough of it anymore, because I believe art part of it's become sort of hyper refined and hyper commercial. And of course, all that kind of beautiful, kind of intuitive, organic kind of art making, a lot of that has been sort of diluted, I think, in this kind of state of the art world we're in at the present time.
Or packaged and marketed beyond its kind of own being in a way. It's taken into something else. So being able to get around that is one of the successes of this show, and it's a lot of fun to do.
So on to drawing folio 3, as you say, mate.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, well, thanks.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Justin, for this wonderful show.